Hey adventurers, welcome to the crew. I'm Sea Lord Jinda, and this is my Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. In the last episode, we arrived in Defiance Bay and began exploring Copper Lane, starting with the local inn. We're now headed up towards the Merchant Square and the Adventurers Hall. It is dark now, though. That's annoying. Alright, a lot of stuff around here. Lomdala's house. Why is that a specific location? Pernisk's house is right there, huh? Okay, here's the marketplace. Oh, there's Paragoon, who didn't help before. Looks like there's basically just about, what, 4 merchants or so standing in a circle. And these are just soul people. That's just a guard. Pretty much just a square of 4 merchants. Alright, let's read these souls, and then I'm going to sort through my inventory. Hilda. You see a dimly lit room with extravagant decoration. Pillows of silk brocade cover the floor surrounding a large, velvet-covered divan. A man sits on the divan, his shirt untucked and only halfway buttoned. Behind him stands this elf, dressed in the same lavish finery as decorates the room. Her hips gyrate gently, dancing slowly around the man as she begins to sing. He looks up at her blearily, intoxication clouding his vision. He smiles, tunelessly humming along with her. His words are too low to hear clearly, but as her singing grows more intense, the lights in the room seem to dim even further and everything loses focus. She takes his face in her hands, singing directly to him, running her hands down his shoulders and arms until she's holding his hands. The man's eyes grow heavy, and he quickly succumbs to sleep, slumping backward. She holds his arms, catching him as he falls, and gently lays him down across the divan. She stops singing when his head hits the pillow, and suddenly the lights brighten back up and everything snaps back into focus. She slips her hand into his jacket, retrieving an item that she places in a small box sitting on a nearby table. She looks back at the man, shakes her head, and escapes into the night. A lot of people creating seductresses as their submitted characters. Cool great storm. You see a man stumble, knees bleeding, clothes torn, eyes dead. His skin's damp with sweat, but he pushes onward. His back is arched, defeated. At his side hangs a bow, strings limp from disuse. He trips through the undergrowth sightless, ignoring all but the sound of his own anguish. He comes across a deer, guts spilled across the forest floor, still steaming in the cold night air. A Stelgare watches him from above, perched on the trunk of an enormous fallen tree. It takes the man a moment to notice his danger, and he seems almost glad for it. The Stelgare unravels itself from the tree, eyeing him carefully. Its distended stomach almost brushes the ground as it jumps down, and the man dives to meet it. For a moment, time seems to slow as man and beast collide. The Stelgare roars, swiping at him with its claws. It soon has him pinned, great yellow teeth and acrid breath ready to end his intrusion. But with a wet, ripping sound, instead the agonized Stelgare is himself gutted from neck to rump. The man exhales deeply, covered in blood, ponderous. Not today. Not today. Okay, now inventory. It's a little bit chaotic. Do we have any weapons which would be more suitable for me? I think that the answer to that is no. I don't really think we have. Yeah, it's a mess. We have multiple pages of weapons here. That should be a way to sort this or something. Are there any that have useful enchantments? That's really the only question, actually, because if they don't have enchantments, then there's not much point in keeping them. Yeah, the vast majority. I mean, I just have like 20 maces here. I should probably pretty much just sell everything that's not at least like fine quality, because everybody has at least basic equipment in the party. If it's not like special, then nobody's going to use it. In fact, let's do that just as a baseline. I guess let's talk to these different merchants around.
Welcome.
Laura, a young woman, stands by a cart, watching the crowd with large, bright eyes that focus on you as you approach. Take your time, traveler. If you're looking for enchanted scrolls or garb, you come to the right place. Okay, so this is the mage vendor. This ring is worth 14,000 copper, allegedly. Plus spell uses. Well, that's pretty good, yeah. This thick iron band, dented, scratched, appears to have seen much use. Studded with 11 small beads, one for each of the gods. Created by an Adiran priest to remind him of his devotion in the heat of battle. It's said that feeling his fingers rub against the beads, he would say a quick prayer to each of the gods who blessed him in return. Okay, and then this ring. Ooh. 2 second level and a 4th level spell for wizards. Well, that would be directly beneficial to me, but also too expensive for me. An elven wizard of Adir, Telda was forever frustrated by the limits of her own considerable powers. After spending almost 2 centuries mastering most of the spells known to Kith, she found that her greatest challenge lay not with her repertoire, but with her inability to make more frequent use of her magic. She spent the last century of her life studying a means to amplify her abilities. When at last she developed the spell she needed, she had it built into this ring so that the prudent wizard need not cast the spell to make use of it. Fair enough. Okay, and then just basic deflection and protection rings. All kinds of scrolls. An ashwood figurine that summons a Delimgon. I don't know what that is, but seems potentially handy. Bunch of potions. Bunch of plants. Alright. So that's a mage vendor.
Greetings.
Narmer. Well met, traveler. Interested in purchasing any rations for your journeys? Okay, he sells food. And by food, we apparently include dragon meat and eggs. Considered a rare and exotic treat for the fairly obvious reason that it's not very easy to obtain. Yeah. Their eggs are just larger than a human torso. Very filling meals, if willing to risk raiding a nest. Does offer resolve and might, but also, like, kind of costs 3,000 gold, which is more than, like, many renovations to my stronghold. Speaking of which, are we working on something? Yes, we're still a day away from finishing the barracks, okay. Paragund. Hello again, the Orlan woman says in a familiar tone. Thanks for visiting my store. I'm still trying to recover from losing that cargo, she says with a huff. My inventory isn't what it used to be, but hopefully I've got something you'll like. Okay, she just sells traps. Piles and piles of traps. Also a rope and grappling hook, which I have one of, so probably don't need 2 on me at all times. And Igrun, what do you
Greetings.
You look like weapons. Igrun stands behind a stall, polishing a broadsword. The patterned flesh around his eyes is crinkled with age, and the muscles in his arms are knotty and lean, but he holds the weapon with ease. He nods at you. Come to take a look? You won't find a finer collection of armor and weaponry in Defiance Bay. Outside Sonild's, of course. He flashes a crooked grin. Why are you advertising another store? She operates in the expedition hall. He jerks a thumb over his shoulder. Sells the best equipment in the city, but Venom keeps her on a short leash. Keeps her fine inventory reserved for chartered expeditionists, members of the dozens, and anyone else he takes a liking to. Okay, fair enough. I think we are not joining the dozens, so... Okay, he sells just absolutely every baseline weapon, right? And we could probably use some lockpicks, honestly. And then some enchanted stuff here. Borisane. 20% of damage restored as endurance. Fine quality. The tanks can stun on crits. It's a pretty damn good bow. I mean, all this enchanted stuff to buy, though, outrageously costly. Which probably makes sense, but still. The dwarven clan of Longmere dwelt in the ruins of Nasitak, hunting game and surviving off the harsh land. Summers were brief and winters difficult, but the winter of 2562 was one of the hardest in the tribe's long history. A mighty snow leopard had established territory nearby, scaring off much of the game near the village. By Phonaton, the hunters were returning with little more than rabbits, and the winter freeze was nigh. A dozen of the best hunters struck out across the tundra determined to hunt the great cat. The beast was craftier than they'd planned, and by Inaverno, half the hunters and most of their hunting foxes had been slain without so much as wounding the leopard. Desperate and furious, one of the hunters crafted a bow from the bones of her slain fox. As her remaining companions looked on, it seemed that all her rage was channeled into the weapon while she carved and shaped it. Her work completed, she set off and tracked the beast to its lair. Once she'd killed it, she decorated her bow with its teeth as a reminder of the deed and the long and tragic hunt. Now black with age and use, this bow is nevertheless fierce to behold. It's studded with the teeth of a large cat, and the notches curve in tight spirals. It seems like an outstanding bow, but I cannot afford it. However, I love that all these unique bows have, not bows, just unique items have really detailed lore. The Lady's Hand. Plus 10 accuracy when below 50 endurance, and 20% damage. And 20% of graze is converted to hits and fine. Yeah, this is a nice scepter. What do I use? Do I use a scepter? I think I use a rod. Okay, that's not helpful. Alright. I'd have to back out, maybe. Alright. Yes, I'll buy your lockpicks. What's my weapon type? Okay, yes, I use a rod. Currently.
How do you do?
Probably wouldn't kill me to use a different one if it was unique. This slender steel scepter is topped with a gilded feminine hand, each finger ending in a delicate mother-of-pearl nail. It was forged and crafted by the smiths and artisans of Delwyn, a small town in the foothills of the Magmere Mountains in the southern reaches of the Edder Empire. The recipient was Lady Riga Adalwan, 3rd Margrave of Maganon, who had recently emerged victorious from a brutal campaign against her march by barbarians and agents of a rival family. In leading the defense of the march, Lady Riga had lost her left hand. The Emperor had this scepter created to reward her sacrifice during the protection of what was then the Empire's southernmost territory. Unfortunately for the Adalwan family, they only held the Maganon territories for 2 more generations. With little money and no land, the family set out for the young colonies of the Deerwood. The Lady's Hand saw renewed use in battle by Brannon Adalwan, Thane of the Low Meadows, during the War of Black Trees. There, Brannon used it to defeat Glenfathan warriors and spirit-animated trees that were marching out of the deep woods. For his service to the colonies, Brannon was made an Earl of the new territory of Blackstand. But bad luck struck the Adalwan family twice. Only a year after establishing a fort on the frontier, Brannon was ambushed by Glenfathan resistance fighters. Finishing their main mission, the assassins then pursued his small family and killed every member, leaving no heirs to the House of Adalwan. Following the reinforcement of Blackstand's fort by its new Earl, the Adalwan family's belongings were distributed according to the known wishes of Brannon. Notably, the Lady's Hand, his great-great-grandmother's gift from the Emperor, was bequeathed to Sir Harig Cardiff, a minor knight of New Haemar, alongside whom Brannon had fought in the War of Black Trees. More comfortable with sword and shield than scepter and grimoire, Sir Harig displayed his friend's gift prominently in his home, but it never saw use in battle again. And his son sold it to some random merchant. Lost Thane's Reach. Plus 1.8 reach, but I don't know if that's unusual for a pike, actually, but inflicts -5 accuracy on hit at its fine quality, which seems like that's just basically the tier of, like there's normal and then there's fine, and I think there's maybe, superb I've seen after that, probably. Lost Thane's Reach was once wielded by Thane Solmar Signor of the Grasp. While engaged in a skirmish against some Glenfathan rebels at the outskirts of New Haemar, Solmar cornered their leader at the edge of a cliff. The rebels quickly interposed themselves between Thane Solmar and their leader, seeking to prevent Solmar from striking the final blow. A skilled pikeman, Solmar was able to foul every attempt to strike him, and he ultimately dealt the rebel leader a mortal wound. Unfortunately, the pike's hooked blade became snagged upon the dying elf's armor, pulling Solmar over the edge of the cliff with his foe. Oof, rough. Shatterstar. Fine. Plus 0.5 crit damage, 1 enemies engaged. All around Eora, tales circulate about fabulous weapons fashioned from stones that fall from the heavens. Once believed to be gifts from the gods, and still often seen as such, these stones are now known to be meteorites. Even so, items crafted from them remain precious. Shatterstar was a hammer forged from a solid block of palisite that was discovered by one of Eothas' faithful shortly after St. Waidwen rose to power in Rhayathsaros. It was crafted into a weapon and carried at the head of the Rhayadsaren army during Waidwen's march on the Deerwood. As such, it was believed lost at the Godhammer Citadel. The head of the hammer is iron and nickel laced with yellow and orange crystals. It's held in place by a bronze band, joined to softly jingling rings. Okay, even assuming that our ability to know the lore of these things is based on, our soul rating abilities or something, where do these people get them? How does this merchant get all these weird, unheard of items? Other than that, he has 2 S-Stocks. He only sells the base versions of every item, it looks like. So, like, I mean, if you wanted to re-equip, you could, but otherwise, I think you get plate armor. That could be good for somebody. Pike's Pride. +9 will. And minus 50% stun and knockdown. Not bad. Otherwise, I think it's just standard medium. What is it? Male? I don't even know what it is. Probably. Born into a family of fishmongers, one young Endearin decided he would give up the family trade and take up the sword instead. He swore he would find greater fortune than ever was bestowed upon his family. When he sought out opportunities to prove himself, however, he was often scorned, for he came from low-born stock and his line had achieved little of note. Discouraged, the lad returned home only to find that his family, eager to see him achieve his wishes, had pooled what coin they had to commission a suit of armor that might keep him safe. The lad asked the smith to craft a set of gleaming scale armor, bright as the flashing scales of a fish and just as light and quick. He called it Pike's Pride, and while he wore it, he found himself immune to whatever foul words his detractors might level at him. So that's why +9 will. That's a lot, to be fair. Otherwise, pretty normal armor. Oh, the Dunrid Demon. +2 intellect. Caswin was one of the Brichalwyn of Arglanfath, received training from Deerwood and Animancers around 2785 AI. When Dunrid was founded 15 years later, she was one of the first ciphers to join. Though relatively old for an Orlan, she was one of its most enthusiastic and capable agents. Known as the Dunrid Demon, she was ruthlessly methodical and infamous throughout Defiance Bay for prowling the streets in her helmet, searching for clues and connections. At the end of the Saints' War, she was over 40, and she was sent to the Godhammer Citadel to search for traces of St. Waidman. She never arrived, and years later, her helmet was found on the road from Echo Bay. Okay, well, this is all... Any of those magic items are very, very expensive, but... Alright, let's sell things. I'm sure I've read that book. And, whoops.
Gods keep you.
I don't know if I've read this book. But it appears to basically say that Admathadrid is the founder of this country. And brought about the end to slavery in the Deer. I might have read this one before. Yeah, Admathadrid declared independence, started the War of Defiance. I mean, if I've not read that exact one, I've read something describing basically that. Is this drugs? Yeah, this is like chewing tobacco. I'm going to sell that. I'm going to sell this helmet. I think all of these helmets are completely, like, whatchamacallit? Aesthetic. Yeah. Rod, helm, cape. I think the capes are too, yeah. Although, who doesn't want a cool cape, but, okay, we certainly don't need piles of capes, though. Nor do we need piles of helms. Or piles of caps. We'll hold on to the Prybar. Somebody might use a Brigandine. Somebody should use that. The odds of me actually eating this food are pretty low, but it's worth literally 0, so... Might as well hold on to it. Oops, didn't mean to sell those spirits. Those are also worth 0, so give them back. I don't know if I've read those parts. Probably not ever going to actually use traps, so... Ooh. It's a pretty good hat I picked up randomly, actually. I didn't realize. We found this from those smugglers, I think, but I didn't realize it was enchanted. Immunity to confused and +2 intellect. Also known as the curmudgeon's coif and the baller's bonnet, this kinching chapeau is a tight fit. It's fashioned by an unremarkable wizard who believed the only thing holding him back from a successful career in the arcane arts was his lack of focus and the petty distractions of small-minded types. Infused with his misanthropic essence, this hat fulfilled his desire twofold. Folk no longer sought out his company, and spellcasting came more easily. Never married, he died alone. This floppy yellow hat sports a wide brim darkened by sweat stains. Well, I mean, kinda handy to have, though. I mean, I'm wearing... yeah. Okay, well, sell more of these random weapons. Don't need that, don't need that. Fine crossbow. Okay, could come in handy. Alright, yes, let's have a look at... let's sort these by this, and then everything that's not fine quality. Like this enormous pile of small shields. I think we can pretty safely sell. Yeah, we've piled a few weapons up. Pistol. I don't think anybody... I don't know if I'm ever going to actually use these tombs and grimoires and such, so... And I mean, this one is just, like, clearly inferior to mine at this point. I mean, now that I've got 3rd level spells, so... I might just sell these, honestly. At least lame ones like this. This one's a little fancier. I'll hold on to that one for now. Alright, armor. Fine, fine. Priest robes. I kind of picked up a lot of those when I killed all those priests. Ooh, fine mail armor. That's good. Okay, I have... like... God, I've killed a lot of people, huh? The amount of simple clothing I have is quite alarming. Mail, sure. Hold on to like a set just in case I want to re-equip somebody. Leather. Same. Hide. Oh my god. All these plate armors are worth 200 copper apiece. Let me hold on to a couple just in case somebody should actually wear them. Ooh, a floppy hat. How fun. Okay, anything else that I should be selling? Probably this stuff, right? Like, I don't think I'm going to use any of this. I could be wrong, but I feel like this stuff is just vendor junk. Troll skin? I mean, surely... it's not worth that much, though, but... like... these gems and venom sacks and whatnot. I don't know. Just keeping the stuff that feels to me like it might be worth something. But surely these. Don't need that. Okay. Sold him 3,000 copper pieces worth of stuff. That's good for the treasury. Now, let me see if I've got anything... got anything actually worth using. Fine stock. Nobody I've got really uses two-handed weapons, but it seems a shame to just sell it. These I think I've read. I'm going to just toss in my book collection. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody will probably call me out if I am. I've got another grimoire in here. That's a pretty nice one. Okay, lockpicks. Giving those to her because I know she literally has no mechanic skill, but I'm just gonna, as soon as we level up, I'm just gonna give her a ton. Like, I'm gonna force her into becoming the party. mechanic, whether she likes it or not. Okay, this hat, though, for me, is actually much nicer than this. I'm gonna give this maybe to Ader. Yeah? Seems more appropriate for him. Helm. Recovery potion. Fine sword, but like... he has this fine maul. And he has this sword that's really good against... Spirit. And it converts grazes to hits. I should probably give him this back. No, but this converts grazes to hits and restores damage as endurance. So I think we stick with Gon's share, but I'm going to keep this in his inventory, just in case. What kind of armor is he wearing? A fine brigandine. Okay. But hold on, let me get some of that plate out of storage. How good is this? Ooh, damage reduction 12. It's not actually better than the fine brigandine, then. Noted. This guy's wearing a normal brigandine, so he should probably take some plate. Okana. Okay. I'm wearing heavier armor than I probably should be, but... Hater has a shield, right? Yeah, he's got a medium shield. Maybe he should have this. It has bashing, too. It does reduce his accuracy, but he's not really supposed to do damage, so... Yeah, have the larder door. Okay, fine stiletto, more simple clothing. This is a bonus to healing received, so I feel like Ader should probably wear that. So that he can be the tank. What was he wearing now? Is it actually... Ooh, but that's +9 will, so that seems pretty good too. This is fortitude, reflex, and will. How good is his... His will is pretty bad without the cloak. Okay, who wants it then? Ooh, Sagani's will is very poor. Okay, she can have it. Sure. Somebody should probably wear this armor. It's really good. Just not for Ader, because he wears heavier armor, but... Durance, maybe? Kind of been having him wear light armor, but he's also still going into the front line, because... That's just how he fight. Yeah, you know what? Put this on. You don't even use grimoires. Okay, I don't think I've read those 3 books, so we'll read those in a second. His original armor was burn-proof, but it was really light. Fine crossbow. Surely not better than her bow. Her bow is only accurate, too, but it also has multiple damage types, which I think is really good for bow. Anything else that we really should be wielding? This hatchet's pretty nice, but I don't know who would use it exactly. This greatsword is also really nice, but I don't know who would use it. And we do have a certain number of fine quality weapons. Who would... Yeah, I need magic weapons. So does a Loth. Doesn't really make sense to have that in my offhand, I guess, but... Warbow. Quarterstaff. Arquebus. Hunting bow. She has a dagger and a hatchet in her offhand. Well, I guess she can have the, She can have both of these two then. If only because literally nobody else in the party uses them. There you go. 2 magic weapons for Sagani. Kind of has a fine S-stock. That's fine. Staff. The odds of 8 are actually using a bow are like negligible, but Thorns could become ranged, huh? And he should be ranged, really, but like I don't have any other. I don't have enough other tanks. Ader is still pretty much the only tank, really. We gotta find a paladin or something soon. Okay, anything else? Robes. This mail armor's nice, actually. Somebody should probably wear that. It's DR11 at minus 45%. Geez, I'm almost tempted to put it on. It'd probably be good for Kana. He's not actually supposed to be a tank, so yeah, why don't you put this on? Okay, back
Hail
to the
and
merchant.
well met.
I'm gonna sell this helm, this cape, this helm, this shield, this clothes, this cape. Whoa. I'm trying to. This helm, armor, brigandine, armor, brigandine, shield. He's got an arquebus, I see. Sell the blunderbuss. I don't think anybody's gonna use these baseline, like, fine weapons, but I'll keep them for now. Because I don't have that many of them yet. But I'll sell this. I'll hold on to, like, one set of plate, just in case we find somebody who would really want to use it. Keep a couple of hats. Okay, that's another 1,100 copper worth of items sold. I don't have space for... Oh yeah, I'm wearing a hat that actually has properties. Does anybody want a fancy hat, though? Aloft, you want a floppy hat? There's the ticket. Who wants a winged helm? Durance, how do you feel about this acorn hat? There you go. Maybe the acorn hat would serve her better. Tell you what, Durance, you have the hat with wings. And then Sagani can have the hat that's an acorn shape. Alright. Alright. Enough screwing around with the merchants. We are going to... Actually, you know what? Let's go over to Pernisk's house and, like, kill him. Cat. Thanks for watching, adventurers. New parts will be up every other day, or you can watch live on Twitch. If you did enjoy the video, consider leaving a like or subscribing. Have a nice day, adventurers. This is Sea Lord Janda, signing off.